I am here at Liverpool Aquatic Centre, my local swimming pool, and the sea of white faces surrounds me. It's a stark reminder that this place may still not feel welcoming for people like me. This isn't a coincidence, but a mixture of cultural beliefs, stereotypes, and fear that has kept the ethnic minority groups underrepresented in the swimming world. I am Cynthia Ajayi, a black British woman born in the Democratic Republic of Congo, raised in London, and I didn't learn to swim until my 30s. Unfortunately, my story is far too common.
I think the stereotype that I've probably heard is that black people can't float, you know. So that's I don't know where that saying came from, but it's just something I've heard quite a few times.
And I just remember like being so self-conscious. And someone said to me, I'll never forget, it's a little ginger girl. She's like, will that wash off when you jump in?
But we see it. Like, I think every summer you see a handful of black kids dying because they're just not prepared for the water.
Me being in a mixed school and obviously not being allowed to get my legs out and stuff, and again not speaking up about it at home because I was just self-conscious anyway. And I was the minority in my school as well, so it was just one of those things that I just kept to myself and kind of suppressed, I guess.
My earliest memory of swimming went swimming with my dad, and I remember just like absolutely like screaming the house down, and I was like clinging onto my dad's neck. He remembers like my toes like around his belly and my fingers around his neck, and I just hated the water. Like,
A recent Swim England report revealed a stark disparity in swimming abilities across the ethnic communities in England. While only 14% of white individuals struggle to swim 25 metres, this figure rises to a concerning 49% in ethnic diverse communities. What's driving this gap? Is it cultural attitudes, financial barriers, or systematic issues? These are just some of the questions I will look to explore in this documentary. One key factor contributing to this imbalance is cultural upbringing. How our families and our communities view swimming can significantly impact whether or not we learn the skill.
Hi, I'm Desiree, I'm 44. And I am from lovely sunny North Liverpool originally. Oh, my heritage is, according to the DNA, no, my heritage is my father was Jamaican and my mother's from a very small island called Aruba in the Caribbean. When I had a childminder, so it was actually my childminder who spoke to my dad and said, she didn't get on well with swimming today. The teacher had said to me, it didn't go well. She was frightened. How about I take her to swimming lessons? So it was my English childminder who even brought it to be a conversation in our house, because it wasn't a conversation. Why would it be a conversation? Don't need to do that.
How about your dad? Did he ever swim?
My dad was taught to swim because he used to go and help his uncle fish. I think he told me. So he took him out in a boat in Jamaica and then literally pushed him out and said, figure it out. That's how my dad learned to swim.
I'm Hafsa. I'm half Pakistani and half white. Of English and Irish heritage. Once I'd got to about 10, 11, swimming lessons were an option again in school, and my mum was unhappy about me doing them because it was a mixed class, but was like, okay, fine. But she was like, you're going to have to wear a full leotard, which, in the 90s, nobody was going to do that. Bikinis did not exist back then, and already felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb, so I didn't particularly want to do it. I had my first swimming lesson where I went in a full length arms and legs leotard, just got teased and felt so ashamed and embarrassed. And so then I just continued to pull a sickie every time they were swimming. Mum just let me do it. I think, she didn't swim either. It wasn't a priority. She probably had fear of it and definitely didn't want me to do something she thought I was scared of.
A common fear cited in the survey was drowning, shared by both those who could and couldn't swim. This fear, often rooted in the lack of swimming ability and water safety knowledge, motivated 4 individuals in 2020 to launch a non-profit to address this issue within the African, Caribbean and Asian community.
My name is Seren Jones. I am 30 years old. I am one of the 4 co-founders of the Black Swimming Association, and I'm also head of comms and marketing at the charity as well. So the Black Swimming Association, or the BSA, is a charity. It's part of the BSA group. We're a water safety charity. We raise awareness of water safety and drowning prevention, specifically amongst African, Caribbean, and Asian communities. And that is because data shows that our communities are more likely to drown. There are kind of economic reasons why people don't swim. There are social reasons why people don't swim. There are cultural reasons why people don't swim. There are accessibility issues. And, all of these kind of married together, all of these small things actually end up being quite big, prominent decision makers, people who try to, whether it's prioritize swimming as a skill or learn to swim as a water safety skill. And I think that's what we are really trying to tackle at the BSA. Getting to learn how to swim is literally just the tip of the iceberg. And that's why, we are really happy to take a step back in that sense, because we know that, like I said, there are fantastic groups already who are doing so. But a lot of the change is going to come from the policies that are in play. And what's harder, I think, actually, than policies is just actually the mentality of people, changing people's minds, changing people's perspectives, people who believed specific things for generations without question, just because their mum believed it, their grandma believed it, their great-grandma believed it. That is fine. But this is kind of the reality of what we're up against, actually. It's changing minds, changing perceptions, challenging assumptions, and changing narratives.
Seren's point about challenging assumptions and changing perceptions is crucial. It's not just about ethnicity. Age also plays a significant role in swimming participation. According to Swim England, Black females aged 58 and older have the lowest swimming rates, with only 36% able to swim. This sheer contrast to the 60% swimming rate among 16 to 25-year-old. It highlights the need for targeted efforts to increase swimming accessibility and inclusivity across all age groups and demographics.
My name is Patricia Walters, born in England, brought up in England, and now in my 60s and still can't swim. Now, some people may say, is that the fear of water? No, it's not. I love water. I love going in the pool. I love going in the sea. In fact, when I was in Mallorca, me and my aunt, she's in her 80s, we went out into the sea and we held hands and we bounced the waves. What it is, it's the fear of the water in my ears. It's the fear of my feet not being on the ground. And I think that's the thing that I need to get over. I turned 60 last year, and I said one of my life goals was to start swimming lessons. I went swimming when I was very young, with my family, with my sisters, my brothers. And I think a couple of times when I was about 6, 7, I'd slipped in the water. And because I've lost my footing and slipped in the water, that really knocked my confidence, because I remember being under the water and not being able to get back up again, and I think, as kids they play, and I might have been dunked underneath the water. So that just knocked my confidence.
One of the things that Swim England touched on was hair and skin as a potential barrier for individuals from the African and Caribbean community. But this issue deserves more attention. My own personal research aligns with the Swim England findings that 23.5% of Black individuals reported concerns about pool water damaging their hair, compared to only 5.2% of the national average. This highlights the need for further exploration and solutions to address this specific barrier.
I'm Michael. I'm one of the co-founders of SoulCap. The other co-founder is Talks. We've been doing this since 2017. SoulCap is a swim brand, an inclusive swim brand that started with swim caps for voluminous hair. So if you have dreadlocks, weaves, extensions, any sort of kind of black Afro hairstyles, we've got a cap for you. But then also we'd like to think that we've got a cap for everyone. So it's not just limited to people of color. We want to be a brand for everyone that touches on, I guess, all the barriers to swim and try and take those barriers and encourage people to swim. Like, I think as a community, like, hair is important to us. It means a lot, and it's, whether we like it or not, it's a huge barrier to swim. The damage. So first of all, the damage that chlorine will do to your hair and really dry out your hair, and then trying to manage that, and then also just the whole, the post regime afterwards takes time. So a session at the swimming pool, where for someone like myself or someone with shorter hair, or someone that I think, or someone that has a swim cap that fits, it can be pretty quick and easy. You want to be in, out, get your exercise in. But if you have a larger or Afro hairstyle, then that whole process could easily be, you could be in the swimming pool for 3 hours.
While 15 minutes isn't enough to delve into every barrier, it's clear that hair, mindset, fear play significant roles in keeping individuals from the African, Caribbean, and Asian communities out of the water.
Sometimes we're always looking outside of us for the solution. So looking for these organisations or this, that. But is this a retraining of us teaching our children? Yeah. And then saying, your hair's an issue, but what we'll do, get a system in place, and blah, blah, blah. And is it more about us changing our mindset? And if you look now, like, we know black women who started mountaineering groups, and I think there's black skiing holiday groups you can go on, and I think it's from within us. We've got to change the narrative. We've got to not wait to be accepted into spaces that don't accept us. We're like, we do it. Yeah. Let's just do it. It's us talking differently around our children, so they talk differently when they're parents, and so on and so forth, and it carries down the line, because we've seen how impactful generational thought patterns have been. It's got to be, someone has to say, okay, we're stopping this now, and we're changing. And I know it's not making it sound dramatic, it's just swimming, but like we said, it's a life skill.
Because it's not just swimming we're talking about. If you can float and swim, then you can swim, you can jet ski, you can surf, you can snorkel, you can go on a catamaran, you can scuba dive, you can do whatever it is that is to do with water. Yeah. And we deserve that as much as anybody else, to have access to these beautiful, fantastic aquatic activities. And it's such a shame that something like hair has been a boundary for so many, for too many, for too long. But like I said, I do think that there's a shift now where we are more open to exploring these spaces and making them ours as well.
Personally, I love swimming and the freedom it offers. Despite facing cultural barriers myself, I've decided to challenge these limitations. I'm determined to learn to swim confidently, whether it's in the pool or the ocean. These spaces belong to everyone. So let's break down the barriers and embrace the joy of swimming together.